you should say your name and how to spell it.
Okay. I'm Marilucy Jaramillo. My first name is spelled Mari capital Luci, Jaramillo, Jaramillo.
Thank you. Okay.
I first met Julian Zamora, a famous sociologist, in 1964. I was elementary school teacher, first grade school teacher, and I had just moved from Las Vegas, New Mexico to Albuquerque. I had come to the big city, and I had won a scholarship to go and study in UCLA for one summer before I was to take my job in Albuquerque. So I went with great anticipation. I had never been to a university outside of New Mexico, so it was very exciting. And there were, I think, 6 of us from New Mexico, or maybe even a few more. And off we went to UCLA. And I had one Spanish-speaking professor at New Mexico Highlands University who had worked with me in Spanish, but I had never had a content area other than my language experience with a Spanish-speaking professor. So we got there, and there was, the registration, the excitement of being on this beautiful campus and stuff. And the following day we went to meet our professors. And there was this famous person, Dr. Julian Zamora, that I had heard a little bit about, but not a whole lot. I knew that he had written a book about Spanish Americans, and I knew that he taught in the East Coast, and that's about all I knew about him. But it was just a wonderful experience. He had a great sense of humor, so he was funny, and kept us all involved. But he also had a very serious side that he meant business. And I love that. I'm a workaholic, and I thought, aha, here's one like me, we're going to read this and we're going to read that. And he started talking about Mexican Americans in a way that I really hadn't heard talked about in open sessions. It's the way we talked about ourselves and how we'd been put down by others, but we really in New Mexico we really didn't talk about it openly back then. We've gotten very vocal now.
And what was the content area of this class?
We took sociology of Mexican Americans, so it was pinpointed to the study of Mexican Americans in the context of the greater society. And so he talked about the discrimination that he had gone through because he was very dark-skinned, things that had happened to him. And so I kept identifying with him, just right away. And then he and his wife Betty started inviting us to their home we'd go in the evening, and that too was new for me. I hadn't spent much time in professors' homes, and we would go and they'd serve wine and cheese and crackers, and we'd sit around and just talk, and he would tell us lots of things that added to the lectures that made it come alive. But something interesting was that Betty chimed in as though she were an equal to him, and I kept thinking, she's not a professor. She's not a professor. He's the professor, and yet anything he said, she'd chime in or she'd ask a question, and I'd think, I've never seen anything like this. Well, the more we went through this, I loved it, I think that was sort of women's lib. She was coming up too, that. Then I realized they were really a team. She knew probably just as much as he did about what he was working on. So it was really a team effort and a very exciting time. So that's how I met Julian Zamora and Betty.
Oh, thank you. Now, I heard that